Though our age span, what Ayurveda says is 120 years. But then we are exploiting the body to such an extent that many get ticket in halfway through 60 years. Bhramacharya is not abstinence. Yogis, rishis, munis who had come and who has taken birth. We have all read about them in the book. Whereas now we are seeing a rishi in life as Modi. In spite of sitting in that chair, he has not lost his control. Whereas we have seen many before, no?
Welcome to the podcast, ma'am. And thank you for being the first ever guest to my podcast. So, Smitha ma'am from Devi Kripa Ayurvedic Hospital. Thank you so much for coming here. First of all, how are you?
Good evening. I am good. This is also my first podcast, so it is, I don't know how it is going to be, but then it's nice.
Like I said, I apologize about the super unprofessional setup. I have two mics, but they're not doing that great. So we'll have to just do this passing thing. So first, I guess I will give a little background about what I know about you, and then you can add to it. You're obviously a very accomplished Ayurvedic doctor. I guess not the founder, but now you're running this hospital because I guess your father was the founder of this hospital. But now you and Anu ma'am run this hospital. And we are actually in the hospital premises and in this beautiful little library that you have. And I think that's your father's picture that's in the background as well, right? And your house is also right next to the hospital. And we are in Kerala, in Palakkad. Yes. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, Palakkad.
Obviously, as you are aware, but I'm saying this for the sake of if somebody watches this, that I found out about your hospital from my boss. When I used to work in a company, there was this gentleman who was from Kerala, and he told me about your hospital because I told him that I have some backache, some back injury. And that's when he advised me of your specific place. How I found out about Ayurvedic treatments in Kerala was actually from an Australian girl. She told me that in Kerala, she fixed her back. And that was amazing because I'm an Indian guy, but she knew about Kerala and the Ayurvedic culture that it has. And then my boss told me about this specific place. And then the rest is history. You and Anu ma'am did your magic, fixed my back, fixed my mother's knees, and the journey still goes on. So is there anything that you want to add to that introduction?
It is not the individual, it is the science of Ayurveda which has fixed. If anybody who is in Ayurveda, in the science, if they are in a position to work with the science properly and authentically, you have an answer for everything. Provided it has not ended up into complications.
And do you want to give a little bit like what the introduction that I gave about this hospital and this journey of this?
I am the fifth generation in the row in Ayurveda.
Wow.
My forefathers have been into this field only. But then I got interested in this field mainly because both my parents were Ayurvedic doctors and they were serving as district medical officers of this Palakkad district. Way back when I completed my 12th standard, my dad, when he was into the higher post, that is the district medical officer post, it was more of administration than of practice, which he was finding it very difficult. So he quit the job, though he had 15 more years of service. And then he realized that what science he has learned, he need to practice and it has to reach the middle class Indians. Because basically Ayurveda is, the name Ayurveda itself is expensive. Ayurveda will be able to give you answers. But then because people are not in a position to afford, they will never reach. So what they will do, they will go over the counter, take some medicine, some painkillers, and then they will just go on. So what happens, by the time you are in your middle 40s and all, your issues, especially musculoskeletal issues, will be so bad that it will need a long treatment. Whereas if at all, if this was available in the early stages of the disease, Then with small amount of money as well as little period of time, you could have fixed it. Because it is very expensive, though people are ready to spare time, they never used to turn towards Ayurveda. And also, many are not aware of Ayurveda as a science of life. Ayu means life and Veda means knowledge. So the knowledge of life is what is Ayurveda. So we say Sarvam Dravyam Panchabaudikam we say. That means Sarvam Dravyam. All the dravyas, all the materials which you are seeing in this world is made out of only 5 elements. Panchabaudikam, Pancha Mahabhutas. They are Prithvi, the earth element, Vayu, the air element, Up, the water element, Tejas, the fire element, Akasha, the space element. So Prithvi, Up, Teja, Vayu and Akash. So if there is an equilibrium of all these 5, then you are healthy. So Ayurveda says Samadosha Samagnischa Samadhatu Malakriya. That is Samadosha. Dosha means generally Ayurveda people say what they know. They only know Vata, Pitta and Kapha. But this Vata, Pitta, Kapha are the capsulated form of your complete anatomy and physiology. And Vata, Pitta and Kapha together, if they are in Samavastha, in equilibrium state, Samadosha, Sama Agni. Agni is what? Your Jatara Agni, digestive fire. If your Agni is proper, in a Samavastha, that is in equilibrium. So Samadosha, Samagnischa, Samadhatu. In a regular healthy body, in all the living beings, you have 7 dhatus. They are Rasa, Rakta, Mamsa, Meda, Asti, Majja and Shukra. All these 7 dhatus are, if they are in equilibrium, so Samadosha, equilibrium state of the dosha, Sama Agni, equilibrium state of Agni, and Samadhatu, the equilibrium state of the dhatus. And Malakriya, that is proper excretory process. If these are all fine, Samadosha, Samagnischa, Samadhatu, Malakriya, Prasanna Atma Indriya Manaha. Prasanna means pleasant. Atma, your soul. Soul basically is very pleasant. But we are unable to understand the soul because we are going behind the mind. No? So Prasanna Atma Indriya. Indriyas are 10 basically. If manas you add on to indriya, then it is ekadasha indriya, that is 11 indriyas. 5 jnanendriya and 5 karmendriya. So all these 5 jnanendriya and 5 karmendriya and this manas, if they are pleasant, prasanna atma indriya manaha, swastha itya vidiyade. If this is happening like a equilibrium state of dosha, equilibrium state of agni, equilibrium state of dhatu, and Prasanna Atma Indriya Mana, pleasantness of all these, then you are swastha, a healthy person. In today's life, nobody is having any time to understand what is happening inside the body. We are eating whatever we are getting. Morning we are getting up and just moving like a machine. We are not understanding anything about the systems which are going within. So, Ayurveda is a science which helps you understand yourself. So, with this, as I told you earlier, Vata, Pitta and Kapha, these 3 are also made out of Pancha Mahabhutas, which are the basics. So, Vata dosha, Pitta dosha and Kapha dosha. So, these also, because of the permutation and combination of these Pancha Mahabhutas, when they are in equilibrium state, at the time when you were in a single cell stage, your Prakriti will be fixed. Prakriti is nothing but the basic constitution of the body. So you have different signs and symptoms which the individual shows in the healthy stage as well as in the diseased stage for us to understand which dosha is predominant. According to that, you can assess the Prakriti. In a diseased stage, According to the assessment of the predominant dosha, the treatments goes. Whereas in a regular swastha, you have Vataja Prakriti, Pittaja Prakriti, Kaphaja Prakriti, and then you have the combination of two doshas. Though we all are made out of all the three, Vata, Pitta and Kapha. When I say Vataja Prakriti, it is the predominant Vata. When I say Pittaja, it is not that you don't have Vata and Kapha. It is there. But then predominantly it is Pitta. Like that. So sometimes what happens, two doshas will be predominant. One will be a little less. In many cases, all the three will be predominant. So if all the three are predominant, that is considered as best Prakriti, because all the three gives its optimal activity in that individual. If you can assess the Prakriti, then you will know what to do, what not to do, and what to eat, what not to eat. Also, when it comes to profession, in which profession you will be excelling and which profession you will not be. For example, if you like music or if you want to be a musician, you might like music. If your Prakriti is Kaphaja, then basically you are a little lazy. Basically. So the music, it is an activity. That activity will not work with this Kaphaja Prakriti. There are many Kaphaja musicians, but then they will need many supportive hands for a complete concert. Whereas Vataja people, Vataja Prakriti people will be good musicians, good dancers, good actors, and sportsmen. The activities, the physical activity will be very quick, and they will move quick. Whereas Kaphaja persons, they are a little slow. Slow in the sense they are very brainy. They catch up things, but then for you to make them work, it is difficult. It will take a longer time. But then commitment will be more in Kaphaja, whereas commitment will be very less in Vataja. That is how it is. So, if you know what your Prakriti is, you can also assess the Prakriti by seeing the skin color, by seeing the forehead, because when you look, you cannot dissect, no? You will not know whether this person is a musician or not when you see a person. So, you can always assess 25 to 30% of the Prakriti by just looking at the person. By seeing the, like, as I told you, skin color, the forehead, size and shape, the ears, the nose, eyes, eyebrow, all these things gives you a idea of what the Prakriti of that individual is. So, accordingly, if we are in a position to like take that individual in that way. For example, you are a Kaphaja Prakriti, and if at all, if you are having a friend of Vadaja Prakriti, that will not work out, because Kaphaja Prakriti will be very, very committed. Whereas Vataja Prakriti, by nature, they are not committed. By nature, they are not committed because they will quickly move. One example, what I can give you is, they will read and quickly they will grasp. They will finish the work and they will forget. Whereas Pittaja people, they will read, maybe they need 2-3 times reading. Pittaja person, they will take the concept. They will not go deep into the subject. Whereas Kaphaja person, they will go deep into the subject. They will understand the positives and negatives of that same concept. And they will calculatively move with this concept. That is how it is. So, if you know what is your combination, because it will, you will hardly see persons with single Prakriti. In the sense, Vataja alone, it is very less. So, you will have either Vata Pittaja, Vata Kaphaja, Pitta Kaphaja, like that. So, if you are in a position to assess the Prakriti, then you will know what to extract from that individual. Or you will know what he or she will be good at. That is what Prakriti helps us. This Prakriti, if you understand, then you will also know what you should eat and what you should not eat. If a Vataja Prakriti person eats all foods which will increase Vataja dosha in the body, then he will always be sick, no? According to the season, we have 6 Ritus: Shishira, Vasanta, Grishma, Varsha, Sharad and Hemanta. According to the Ritus also, your 3 doshas goes in 3 avasthas: Chaya, Prakopa and Prasara. So, Chaya, Prakopa, Prasara means it will slowly increase, then it gets vitiated, then it settles inside the body and tend to develop some disease according to the seasons. So, if you know what your Prakriti is, and if you understand what is the dosha which will increase in this particular Ritu, then you can always have food which will not aggravate the dosha. Second, you will do the activities which will not increase the dosha. Third, you will take the steps to make sure that this dosha is eliminated from the body by means of taking a purgative or doing some nasya or taking a steam, something like that. These are all different procedures which you can utilize for to maintain your health as well as to cure the disease. So this is the overview.
Wow.
Okay.
You said so many things there. I feel like I could have a 1-hour podcast on every little thing that you just said. Specifically, that part about this idea that you may be able to find how compatible is somebody with you as a partner.
Yes.
That I have never heard. Like I've heard a lot about Vata, Pitta, and Kapha and other
Yes.
people saying that, but I've never heard that you could even figure out that how compatible this person may or may not be with me.
Yes.
That is fascinating.
Nowadays, when you go for a match, because in compared to what it was 10 years before, today the amount of separations in the families are more. That's mainly because of incompatibility. So people go to astrologers and then they will say, okay, this kundali is matching with this and all those. If you understand the Prakriti, then you will come to know whether there is proper compatibility in terms of basic constitution. Because some, like as I told you, Vata people, they are not committed. And if the other partner is very committed, let us say one example, you will say, I will be waiting for you at 4 p.m. We will go out today evening. The other individual who is Vataja, there is some work in the office or whatever, but then at that particular time, they are involved there and they forget about it. How many times will you take sorry there? This is one small example. But then if this continues, similarly, when it comes to kitchen, many, what I have seen is, they would want to keep the kitchen speck clean.
The Vatas.
No, Kapha people.
Kapha.
Yes, they will keep it very clean. But then Vataja people, basically, they are a little messy. So they will keep it here and there. So what happens, I have many patients who comes and says that I am every day cleaning the same thing and I have to go to the office. But then when you take a material, why don't you keep it to the same space? Maybe it is childhood developmental issues. But then as an adult, if you are of Pitta or Kapha Prakriti, you will understand that no, I need to keep this so that the work is not overloaded for the other individual. Whereas for Vata, they are not bothered. So here, when I talk about the Prakriti, it is not only the physical Prakriti, it is also the mental elements. So we have certain assessment charts which will help you assess your own Prakriti. So once when you assess with that chart, automatically you will come to know which Prakriti you are. Once when you realize that, okay, you are Vata Kaphaja, that is also a good combination because there is activity as well as a better outcome also. So, but then Pitta Vata also is very good. Today, because of this digital medias, the physical activities has reduced to maximum. But if you see Vataja people, they will take their phone. Probably they are on phone 24/7. But then they will walk and then they will be talking, or they will be browsing or doing something. Whereas Kafaja people, they will be sitting in one corner and then they will be doing this. So there are lots of diseases there. So it is not that Vataja people are not going to get any disease, or Pitta is not going to get disease, or Kapha is not going to get disease. Everybody will get disease, because Sharira means Shiryate Anena Iti Shariram. That means that which dies and disintegrates is Sharira. So every individual, one or the other way, you will have one or the other issue. But the art of life, that is what knowledge of life, no, that is Ayurveda, gives you the tips as to how you can pass through the bridge from the birth to death without much difficulty. That is what is Ayurveda.
So beautifully said, ma'am. What you said about the Sharira was a bit depressing, but it's the truth, I guess. I felt like...
you will also know about it. Red blood corpuscles, they have only 120 days life. Similarly, one example I am giving you, in 120 days, like now we are sitting here, many 120 days would have finished. They are dying and disintegrating. They are like heme and globin will separate and they go to different areas. But then your bone marrow is developing new ones. They also have only 120 days. Similarly, though our age span, what Ayurveda says is 120 years.
Wow.
But then we are exploiting the body to such an extent that many get ticket in halfway through 60 years. That's because like your mobile phone, your anything what you are using, all those things are having a life, right? Similarly, all your systems, all your cells, if you are using it in a proper way, tuning them in a proper way and in an optimal way, they will help you live. The soul will be inside this body for a longer time. If you are exploiting the body and the Sharira, that is the physical body, if it is wearing out, what will the soul do? Soul will get out. Otherwise, you will be a vegetable for some time and then at last it has to get out. No? That is how it is. So, the art of life is living fully with optimal energy as the age goes, as per the avasthas. Avastha means Balyavastha, when you are young, you are more of playing and studying and you don't have any commitments. In Yavanavastha, you are still studying, but then you are not having any burdens on the shoulder. But then still you are in that jovial mood, there is no much stress and all. But then in the late part of the Yavanavastha, you are burdened with the family. By then what happens? Parents will be old. Especially if you are the youngest, then obviously parents will be a little elderly and then they will fall sick. Then the stress starts, like wife and children, the stress starts. But then everywhere there is stress. There is no place where there is no stress. It was there even before. 100 years back also it was like this only. They also had wife and children. They also had big families. They did not have so much of comforts, but then still they lived 100 plus years. Now why is it that in spite of so much of development of science, why is it that lots of people are dying so soon? That's mainly because we are going with half knowledge. Somebody says you stop eating all types of rice and wheat. They stop completely. Some says stop all milk. They will stop completely. But then you are used to certain things. So you cannot stop all of a sudden. You can only reduce and then according to the Satmya. Satmya is routinely adjusted. From the day one of the birth, you are used to certain things. So your body is conditioned to that. So those things you will have to identify and then take it in optimum. So Ahara, Swapna and Bhramacharya are the three pillars which will hold your body well. Ahara is food. You have certain rules and regulations for food. Swapna is sleep. Different types of sleep. Different types in the sense, avasthas. Different stages of sleep. And rules and regulations of when to sleep, how to sleep, and how long to sleep and all. And then Bhramacharya is not abstinence. Bhramacharya is the routine which one has to follow. Like in Balyavastha, when you are a student within 16 years, you are supposed to follow even abstinence. That is the rule, so that you will not meddle with your systems. After that, when you are matured enough and when you are in your prime youth, your Brahmacharya is Patni or Ekapati. That is only one partner. Whereas, yes, there are many different types of explanations which goes, and then people bring in different versions. But then in this particular stage, Brahmacharya means you are committed to this person. That's all. So you will not end up having venereal diseases, which is very common today because of the polygamy. And next, after once when you are having children and then when you end up having andropause or menopause, then you are into the Vruddhavastha. Vruddhavastha does not mean that you have to sit in the corner and then just crib. Vruddhavastha or Vanaprasthavastha, that is like the forest which is there inside you, within you. Vana is Vana, that is forest. Forest, you don't have to go in search of some forest. Right. The forest is inside you because you have never traveled within. So the travel within, that is Vanaprastha. Prastha is to travel. So you should start traveling within where there is a forest. And once when you start introspecting, that is traveling within is introspecting, then you realize that your inner search is more important than your outer travel. Then you start your spiritual journey. Once when you start your spiritual journey, automatically you will feel more contented. And in these avasthas also, in the Balyavastha and in the Yavana we take and take and take. Whereas in Vanaprasthavastha, you should start giving. And yes, you will take. You have your food, you have your, like for your shelter, you need basic requirements. You are taking, but then you are giving also. The last avastha is sannyas avastha. In that avastha, you give and give and give more than you take. So in all these avasthas also, there is Brahmacharya. According to the avastha, what are the rules and regulations that you should follow to keep yourself healthy and your family healthy? That is what is Brahmacharya. The other way around, Brahma is super conscious. To reach super conscious, Charya is the routine. Yeah. The routines which you have to follow to reach super conscious, that is what is Brahmacharya. But it has been explained as abstinence in many areas, but that is not what is actual fact.
Oh, again, so much knowledge there. Vanaprastha was interesting because even in some of the, like in Mahabharat, you know the B.R. Chopra Mahabharat, yes, have you seen it?
Yes.
I think towards the end, they show Dhritarashtra and Kunti and Gandhari. They actually physically go to a one. So I used to think that back in the day, VanPrastha means you literally go to a forest.
Okay.
But this is new to me that you don't have to go.
Today, in today's world, you don't have that forest. One. Second one is, if you see the last part, that is Pandavas, Kunti will not go, Draupadi will go. Pandavas along with his wife, when their wife, they will go towards Swargarohini. That is not, actually that yatra, it is not forest. It is a glacier. Even today we can travel there. But then See, there also, if we analyze, then it is an inner travel. And what Bhagwan Krishna says is, he gives 2 points. They will reach, the Pandavas and Draupadi will reach Badrinath. From there, Bhagwan Krishna gives a vision and says that you have to travel to Swargarohini in one route. That place is called as Swargarohini because Yudhishthir, he will be taken to Swarga from that point. So that is why we are calling that place as Swargarohini. So it is a glacier around 35 kilometers trekking from Badrinath. So the first place when you travel, you will see small narrow roads. In the starting place, they are a little broad, but then once when you go high up, they are all very narrow roads, and then the climate is not at all suitable. It is below normal temperature. You will freeze by about 2 p.m. or 3 p.m. It is pitch dark, like that. When you go in that yatra, when you travel, then there are no inhabitants there. Why you go there? It is only to help yourself detach from the distractions which are there in the world, you and yourself. Because there is nothing there. It's all glaciers. What you will see in a glacier? And okay, you are climbing up and up and up, and you are taking one tent and sitting there. There is no entertainment. Even your food you have to carry. So walking up till there itself is very tough. With a load on your back, you start realizing that this travel, it is not an outside travel, it is an inside travel. So it is for the travel within that it happens. See, the VanPrastha which you had mentioned, Dhritarashtra and all, Vidura comes and says that now you cannot, because Pandavas are using, Pandavas have come and then they are ruling. So you have been humiliating Pandavas so much. So then it is not good that you have to take food from them. And you have tried to kill Bhima. And Krishna will make iron Bhima and then gives, because he will try to hug and then crush the ribs. But then Krishna, after knowing this well in advance, he makes a statue made out of iron so that it will not get crushed. So such things you have done purposefully. And then after all these, trying all possible means to destroy them, and then now you are an ashrita, that is, you are living in their country. It is not good, and you are old enough. So come for VanPrastha. So during that time, Vidura is actually opening the inner self of Dhritarashtra. And Dhritarashtra being blind, he was blind also in the mind. And he was filled with moha. Moha is desire. So he was also covered with maya. Maya means like my children. So that attachment made him andha, not only from outside but also from inside. So because of all those things, Vidura, the character, if you analyze, he is the knowledge part. The knowledge. So the knowledge is giving information to the individual who is filled with desire and maya and blindness towards the emotions, towards others. He had lots of love towards his children, but then he hated others. That was the issue. If at all, if he had given equal amount of love and care to other children, then it would not have been the case. So he was andha both outside and inside. So Vidura, literally, when he says VanPrastha, we have to take it in such a manner that if at all, if they are in the comforts of the Raja, that is palace, they will never travel within, no? So they have to get out of the comfort so that you start traveling within. Otherwise, you are comforted, you have proper sleep, you have 3 square meals a day, you don't have to think about anything, everything is being taken care, then why you will travel within? you will not have the purpose for life. So every one of us have a purpose in life. Why are we here? Who am I? Why is this soul in this body at this particular point of time? And why am I doing all these activities? So if we are able to understand this, then we will not have Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. These are called as Ari Shadvargas. Ari means enemy. Group of 6 enemies. Kama is extra desire for anything. It can also be like extra love towards an individual. But then you end up giving more and taking less. So you end up having pain. Krodha, that is anger. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. So all these are group of 6 enemies. These 6 enemies always will be there in the mind. We have to conquer them. So conquering them means you will be like Jitadvandva. That means you will win over positives and negatives. Then even if positive happens to you, even if negative happens to you, you will be having Samachittada. That is, you will have the same equilibrium state of your mind. One example what I can say is, to a greater extent, Modi ji is Samachitta. Otherwise, any human beings for that matter, in his place, it would be very difficult. It is only because of his routine in life, yoga, meditation, and the way he is looking through, and the sattvic diet which he is taking, and the daily routine, Bhramacharya. It is not, I am again in his avastha as a Prime Minister, he is working hard selflessly. Today, even an ant is not selfless. It will hoard its food for himself, not for the other group. No? So, whereas in his case, he is, for the basic living, whatever is needed, he is utilizing. All the rest, he is giving it away. So that Samachittada, that selflessness, if we are able to look through, if we see all the scriptures, Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa, before that Shankaracharya, all the yogis, rishis, munis who had come and who has taken birth, we have all read about them in the book. Whereas now we are seeing a rishi in life as Modi. In spite of sitting in that chair, he has not lost his control. Whereas we have seen many before, no? There are many things which are not compatible with them and him. So that way, if we are able to analyze things, again, this Vata, Pitta and Kapha, and the Manas has Rajas, Tamas and Sattva. So Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic, if they are in equilibrium, Vata, Pitta, Kapha in equilibrium, then you are healthy, mentally and physically healthy. As I told you, Samadosha Samagnischa Samadhatu Malakriyaha Prasannatmendriya Mana Swastha Ityabhidiyade. That is the definition of a healthy person according to Ayurveda. The same in English version is given as a healthy person from WHO. World Health Organization says it is not only the disease-free life, but also the physical, mental, social well-being is considered as proper health.
Wow. Again, so many things there. Swarga Rohini, it's interesting you brought that up because I went on this trek in Uttarakhand to this place called Kedar Kantha.
Yes.
So I went there, and from there, Swarga Rohini is visible.
Yes.
And our guide said, according to him, I don't know if this is true or not, nobody has been able to scale Swarga Rohini.
Actually true, because we also traveled to Swarga Rohini from Badri. So from Badrinath, it is 35 kilometers trek. So you will see the first place where Nakula fell, then Sahadeva fell. In that time, Krishna has told that you should not turn back. So that don't turn back is one indication for us also to follow, wherein In our life, we would have done many mistakes knowingly or unknowingly. If we just turn back, we start cribbing. We start feeling sad. We start feeling repenting. So with all those things, we will not be happy. We will not be able to move ahead. So here, what Krishna has told, never turn back. The place where Sahadeva fell, when he falls, Nakula turns back. After some time, Nakula falls, and then Draupadi turns back. When Draupadi falls, then Arjuna turns back. After some time, Arjuna falls. Then Bhima turns back. Though all of them turns back, even after Bhima falls, Yudhishthira will not turn back. And then he will reach the place where Bhima falls. It is called as Satopant. The name itself is travel for truth. Satya Dharma Ki Yatra. That is the explanation for that. Satopant. And that place has one sarovar. And it is at such a high altitude, but then it is speck clean water. And it's like chilling cold, but then you can take a dip and all. It is very nice. If you are interested in taking a inner travel, introspection, very nice place. And after that, you have Surya Kunda and Chandra Kunda. By the time you reach Surya Kunda, you start feeling suffocated. In spite of doing 108 Surya Namaskaras regularly and making the lungs capable of trekking all the way high up, by the time you reach Surya Kunda, you will feel that it is enough because there is so much of less oxygen there. And then that is the place where they have, they say that nobody has crossed that area. The actual place of Swargarohini, you will see one Baba was there when we went. He was in a small cave at Satopant. So he was the person who had informed us that he pointed out one place and said that nobody has reached there. It is at that point that Yudhishthira was taken to Swarga. But then during that time, there was another story where there was a dog along with this 5 plus 1, 6 person. That is Pandavas and Draupadi. This doggy will also be walking and all the rest will fall. Only this doggy will be there till that point. So Yudhishthira will say that, no, I will not come unless and until you take this doggy. So you see the dharma, the loyalty. Because this is the jiva who has accompanied me till the end. So I will not leave him alone here. So that much of commitment, it is not there today. Okay, that much is not there, no problem. At least 10% of that is there, that will be enough. So that is selflessness, no? You just imagine if you are not taking the doggy, I am also not coming. Fine. By chance, if they had said, fine, if that is the case, you go back. Then, after traveling for such a difficult trek, today itself it is so difficult. So you just imagine at that time how it would have been. So that he was ready to. And then Dharma Raja, who had come in the form of doggy, he explains that it is okay. I have come to test you. So we can understand many things in this particular incidents. One is every moment it is a test. Everything what is happening to us is to reform us. It is to fine tune us. And it is to make sure that you are finishing your activity here every day, every moment. So you will be ever ready for the next transformation. So you will not have any desires. So I was talking about the 6 group of enemies, right? So out of that, most of the enemies will be cut down there. Because you don't have any desire, you don't have any anger, you don't have any loba, moha. Moha is desire for something which others are having, not us, like that. So that all these 6 Arishad Vargas, the group of 6 enemies will not pop up. So your mind will be under control, your brain will be active, and you will be connected with your soul. That is what is inner travel, no? So that is what is VanPrastha.
Amazing. It is true. I mean, every single time I've been to the mountains or any place where there's lots of nature and nature overtakes you, you can't help but start to sort of go within, I guess, automatically, you know. And that feeling is hard to get in a metro city or in a, you know, town. But for some reason, you go into the mountains or even near the ocean sometimes.
Yes.
That feeling comes in.
Yes.
So I guess it would make sense that it is meant for the inner journey. But if you go to a place like that, it's easier to go on that journey. So that makes sense. But I'm amazed that the Pandavas were able to, or at least Yudhishthira was able to trek through Swargarohini, which even today nobody can go. So kudos to their fitness. And obviously, look, I have no proof whether these things happened or not, and people argue, oh, how can you prove? But one thing is, every single time I've been on these treks, some doggy always accompanies. Have you noticed this?
Yes.
Over there, it does happen. So I don't know what is it with the dogs there. They automatically, they don't even know you. They just start walking with you.
Yes.
So I'm inclined to believe that this would have happened.
Yes. Even with our travel, it happened. And then till we came back, that is around 3 days, whole through. So from the starting, we had 2 doggies with us, and then they were like protective. Like when we put the tent, they will be with us in the front of the tent itself. But then they will not disturb you, they will not trouble you at all. And then till you are coming back, they will be with you. And then after that, like in between, if you sit for some time, they will walk a little ahead and then they will also sit. Like that, it was very nice experience. But then in all these things, if we analyze, it is all for our inner transformation. We are just going, okay, same thing. You can always go for a movie and you get a different experience. But then that will not be long standing. Because this one is like, see, for example, when you go to the kindergarten class, alphabets are taught, right? So these alphabets, in the starting, they will give you very many different pictures, and you are inclined to see many things. And then they will say A for apple. But then A for apple, you see and you understand. So similarly, in metro city, you see and understand what is there in this world. But then once when you are a little grown up, matured within, then you will know that what you are seeing is not what is truth. You are not the physical body. You are something else. So you would want to know what you are. So for that inner travel, you need to reach a place where there is energy in that place itself. We call it as kshetra. That is what happens in the temple also, no? You imbibe a lot of energy from there. So like that, these places also has its own energy. As you clearly said, ocean or water, pond or riverside, where people are there. But you don't have any business with them. You are alone there and with the nature. So your inner nature is getting connected with the external nature. At that time, the travel is within. Once when you have an inner travel, automatically you elevate. That is how it is.
Do you just quickly go back to that Vata Pitta Kapha thing?
Yes.
Because it's so fascinating, because one thing is, I mean, I think there's a lot of literature out there about how to find your Prakriti and whatnot, but it'll still be good to hear from you, or maybe you said that you have charts or something.
Yes.
So say we find out what is our Prakriti, and most likely it is some combination of the two things, like Vata plus Pitta or whatever. Once you find out what is your dominating Prakriti, and now we know that maybe we can find out what is the right thing for us to eat, and what are the foods that we should avoid, and even what partner or what Prakriti partner will be suitable for us.
Yes.
So, for example, you were saying like the Kapha dominated one may not gel too well with the Vata one.
Yes.
So, But then how do you know? Say I find out my Prakriti. How do I know which Prakriti is compatible with me?
That which will assess, no? In that you will get a external Prakriti. I told the smaller forehead is Vata, medium forehead is Pitta, broad forehead is Kapha. Eyes also, small eyes are Vata, medium eyes Pitta, big eyes Kapha, the eyebrows, and then the color of the pupil. All these things, there are different, in the chart you will get all these. As an external Prakriti, you can assess with that. After that, anyway, however, if at all, if you are, let us say you are to work with partner, you will not right away in one sitting jump and then work with him. No, you will have 2 or 3 or 10 sittings and then see if things are going to work out. Then only you will sign a contract, right? In these 10 sittings, you will be able to know what type of Prakriti he is internally, because how he talks, how he behaves, what are his movements. Like Vata Prakriti, they will not sit at ease. They will have lots of movements. You are giving a concept, how quick they are grasping, what is the output from them, how they are taking the conversation. All these things you will be able to make it out in terms of Prakriti, and you can decide whom to work with and whom not to work with. So Prakriti is one thing which if you are able to understand and go to the basic, then to work with, to live with individuals. Basically, I am Kafaja. So, Kafaja in the sense Vata Kafaja. So, Kapha is more and Vata. So, the other way around, I should be saying it as Kapha Vataja. So, if at all, if I am living with a person who is Shuddha Vataja, only Vataja Prakriti, I will not be able to tolerate. If it is Pitta Vataja, then it gels well. So that is how this hospital is running.
Right.
Yes. So here also, whenever I work, like we have certain staff who are totally Kafaja. They are blunt. And they even if you smile, they are lazy to smile. Yes. Yes, we have people like that. So it is like, okay, you are born like that, but then in today's world, the need of the hour is different. You should always make yourself adjustable to the time. No? When you are in Rome, do as Romans do.
Yes.
So you need to adjust and you need to pick up the traits which are not within you, and you take the good traits from others and then try to inculcate. By practice you can do that, no? So it is not that Kafaja Prakriti will always be lazy and they can only be administrators, or they can only be the guides, just giving knowledge. No, they also have to live in this world. No? So here, some of the staff who are here now, I used to inform them that here, because I understand your Prakriti, I understand your trait, that is why I am okay with it. But then if you get out of this gate and if you go to any other hospital, you are not eligible to be in a hospitality group. So that happens. So if you are working in as a team, and if that has to go hand in hand, this helps a lot.
I was told last time when I was here that I am more Pitta dominant.
Yes, you are.
But I forget.
Pitta Vata.
Pitta Vata.
Yes.
So, yeah, I have to figure out what is the right food and who I will gel with. I have to figure out all of that. But when we talk about that compatibility thing, you said that you have to figure it out yourself. But it's not like if I find out my Mool Prakriti is Pitta Vata, then it's not like I know that if I find a Kapha Vata, then it will work. It's not like
that.
Okay.
It is not like that. All Kapha Vata need not gel with you. See, this is one of the, there are many factors, no? Like let us say, a person who is who has never gone to the school, who does not know anything about this world, he is Kafavata. How he will gel? He will not. When we talk about a team, we have certain eligibilities. Like for example, here when I talk about therapists, there are certain basic eligibilities which they should finish and then come. No, so you have n number of people coming for interview. So in that 10-15 minutes of interview, you will have to search who will gel with you well, who can understand and who can catch up your concept well. Ratan Tata, he was able to quickly take all this. I read one article where way back, I think in 1990 or so, maybe that year, I am not sure about, but then he had gone to buy Ford.
Yes.
So there he was humiliated, saying that you don't know anything about passenger automobile. 10 years down the lane, Ford went into bankruptcy. The Ford people came to Tata and he bought that. But then he did not humiliate the other individual. If need be, he could have, but then he did not. That was mainly because of his internal transformation which he has made for himself. One, culture and the inner soul takes a lot things from the previous birth. Samskara. So that in English, when we talk about samskara as culture, it is very limited. Culture is a word which is very limited. So the samskara which he has brought with him, after that, the activities or the charyas, the routines which he has been following in his lifetime, that has made him a matured gentleman from day one till day last. That is what we are saying as Ratan Tata. As of today, he is not there. But then the same thing we are saying in Modi ji also, no? Like there are many areas where we, after seeing the news and when activities are happening, we end up having adrenaline shots. But he sitting there after having kilos and kilos of gali from people. He is damn cool. That is mainly because it's like it is not. See, politician is a profession, but personality is different. So that personality which is having samachittada, that is equilibrium of mind. If equilibrium of the mind has to come, the body should be in equilibrium. If the body has to be in equilibrium, the dhatus, the agni, the doshas should be in equilibrium. If all these things are in equilibrium, your Panchamahabhuta, where we started, Panchamahabhutas will be in equilibrium with the external environment. So, health is nothing but a equilibrium between your external environment and internal environment. Okay?
Maybe next time we'll discuss in more detail about how to bring that equilibrium.
Yes.
But what you said about Modi ji is very interesting. Maybe there could be some people here who like him, maybe some don't like him.
Yes.
But you have to admit, whether you like him or not, all the things that he has done or his government has done, they've done some big things. You may like them or you may not like them, but I've never seen him lose his cool or lose his composure in any situation.
Yes.
And especially dealing with a lot of international leaders, and this is, I mean, at least ever since I've grown up, I've never seen India be on the offensive when it comes to international relations, you know.
Yes.
I've never seen our foreign ministers giving it back to other people. And, you know, this is the first time I'm seeing that sort of confidence.
Yes.
And they don't even do it in a dirty way or anything.
Yes.
They do it with class.
Yes.
So, and that all is happening under his leadership.
Yes.
And I have to admit that he's got to be doing something in his dincharya that keeps him.
He's one of the press conference. Somebody had asked, So he says that he does Surya Namaskara, he does meditation, he does all the yoga asanas. And every day, the time of getting up, time of going to sleep, and then he will never keep anything pending for the next day. So if he is able to make sure that all the activities are done at that particular time, see, if you work towards it, the nature also supports you. So that is why if you analyze his team members, and again, we were talking about Prakriti. And if you analyze the Prakriti of those, you are not going to see them personally. But then when you see them on the screen, you see the Prakriti. Then you will understand why the team is gelling very nicely. So everything is a science. Like that. Okay?
Amazing, man. Thank you so much. And I've taken a lot of your time, but I really appreciate you doing this. And hopefully, whenever you're free the next time, I would like to continue this because there's so much to learn from you. So, whenever you're free the next time,
Sure.
thank you so much.